You're asked to divide the following rational expressions and list the excluded values. So before we start, eventually we're going to multiply these because when we divide fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. But the first thing I'm going to do is factor each of these numerators and denominators so that we can kind of see what the factored form looks like. If you need to get practice with diamond and box, this is not the best video for it, just because for time's sake, I'm going to do these without actually showing the work. But basically what ends up happening here is I get x plus 1 over x minus 2. And the top here breaks up into x plus 1 times x plus 1 after we diamond and box that. The bottom becomes x plus 3 and x minus 2 when we diamond and box. And so the reason we have to do this now before we start flipping is because when I'm listing all the excluded values, I need to make sure to find any x values that would make the denominator 0 at any point in the equation. So right now I need to double check, hey, what makes the denominator 0? And that's positive 2 and negative 3. So here's part of my excluded values already. Now to finish the problem, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So what that means is now I keep the first fraction the same, but then I multiply by the flipped version of the second fraction. And now I'm going to check again for any more excluded values, which I see here that I have one more. I know that x cannot be negative 1. And so there's 3 different excluded values in this problem. To finish the problem, however, I need to put all these together. I'm going to rearrange a little bit. So I got x plus 1 over x plus 1, x minus 2 over x minus 2, x plus 3, and then what's left over is just another x plus 1. And so the reason I did this is to show that if I divide something by itself, it just gives me 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. And 1 times anything is just itself. So I can really just not show these in the formula when I'm done, because x minus 2 divided by itself is just 1. And so my final answer here is just x plus 3 over x plus 1. And those are my excluded values there in pink. Second one, same idea. I'm going to factor first, check for excluded values, multiply by the reciprocal, and check for excluded values again. So in this one here, the top breaks down into 2x plus 3 times x minus 1. The bottom breaks up into, this is one that we've already done before, x plus 3 and x minus 2. Can't factor 2x plus 3. And the bottom becomes x minus 2 times x minus 1. And so I check for excluded values. X cannot be negative 3, x cannot be 2, and x cannot be 1 so far. Then I multiply by the reciprocal, so 2x plus 3 and x minus 1 over x plus 3 and x minus 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 1 over 2x plus 3. And now I rearrange. Actually, nope, I'm going to double check for any more excluded values. Looks like when I'm seeing what can make the denominator 0 here, I kind of have to do a little solving. Okay, so I know that x cannot be negative 3 halves either. So there's 4 different excluded values on this problem. Now I'm going to rearrange a little bit and multiply across. So everything in the numerator stays in the numerator. Everything in the denominator stays in the denominator. X minus 2. But I am just rearranging them. So in the top here I have x minus 1. In the bottom here I have x plus 3. And one more x minus 1. And so now I use my giant 1 principle to see that these things here become 1 and therefore no longer show up. And to make my answer look nice and pretty, I'm going to multiply that top back together here. using whatever method you need to. So my answer here is x squared minus 2x plus 1 over x plus 3. And I'm going to state my excluded values, which are listed here.